Today, we are tackling a classic furniture problem. How do you get that big, comfy recliner you've always wanted into a not-so-big room? It feels like it should be impossible, right? Well, it's not. I'm going to show you exactly how to find the perfect fit without turning your living room into an obstacle course. Ugh, you know the scene. You're in that huge furniture store and you see it. It's the perfect recliner. You can just feel yourself sinking into it after a long day. It looks amazing. And then the delivery truck arrives. And suddenly, that beautiful, cozy chair is a monster that has completely taken over your entire room. Look, if that's ever happened to you, trust me, you are in good company. This is probably the #1 mistake people make when buying furniture. It's not about having bad taste. It's just a little hiccup in perspective and, well, measurements. But that's exactly what we're going to fix today. In the next few minutes, you're going to get a super simple system to get this right, every single time. We'll cover the exact numbers you need, the biggest mistake almost everyone makes, and I'll even show you the secret weapon for tiny spaces, the specialized small space recliner. So let's dive right into it. The #1 biggest mistake, and here's a little spoiler, it has almost nothing to do with how wide the chair is. Okay, so here's the classic trap. You measure a wall, you see you've got, say, 60 inches of space, and you figure a 40-inch recliner will fit with room to spare. Makes sense, right? But the smart way, the right way, is to think about depth. You absolutely have to account for how far back that chair leans, and you've got to leave enough room to actually walk in front of it. And this right here, this is the key. Write this down. In a small room, it's the front-to-back measurement, the depth, that eats up all your precious floor space, not how wide it is side to side. So, if depth is the big secret, what are the actual numbers we're talking about? Let's break down exactly what you need to pull out that tape measure for. All right, here are the numbers you need to know. For a typical standard recliner, you need a zone of about 65 to 75 inches of total depth. Now that includes up to 30 inches behind the chair for it to fully recline. And, this part is non-negotiable, about 30 to 36 inches in front so you can walk by without shuffling sideways. Okay, so let's apply this right now. Think about your room. A 9-foot room is 108 inches deep. If your room is smaller than that from wall to wall, a big traditional recliner is probably going to feel pretty tight. But don't worry, that doesn't mean you can't have one. It just means we need to get a little smarter with the type of recliner we choose. And the good news is, furniture designers have already solved this problem for us. There are specific types of recliners made just for those spaces where the old-school, bulky ones just won't cut it. Meet your new best friends for small spaces, the wall hugger, the pushback, the small scale, and the swivel glider. Now, they all have their perks, but there's one that's the undisputed champion of saving space. Let's talk about the wall hugger. This thing is a work of genius. Its mechanism is designed to slide the chair forward as it reclines, away from the wall. That means you only need a few inches of clearance behind it, not a few feet. For an apartment or a small living room, this is an absolute game changer. Okay, ready for the formula? It's super simple. Step 1. Measure the total depth of your available space. Step 2, immediately subtract 36 inches. That's for your walkway. The number you have left is the absolute longest your recliner can be when it's fully stretched out. And here's a pro tip. Always leave a couple of inches of buffer just to be safe. Let's run a quick example. Let's say your room is 110 inches deep. You take away that 36-inch walkway and you're left with 74 inches. That means you need to look at the product description online for fully reclined length and make sure that number is 74 inches or less. See? Simple as that. Now, even if you absolutely nail the measurements for the room, there are a couple of other little traps that can totally mess up your day. Let's cover those so you don't get any nasty surprises. I know it sounds so obvious, right? But you would not believe how many people forget this part. The chair might be perfect for the living room, but can you actually get it into the living room? So you have to measure your doorways, any tight corners in your hallway, and definitely your staircase, because that perfect chair is pretty useless if it's stuck in your front hall. And here's a massive tip, especially if you live in an apartment. Search for KD recliners. KD stands for knockdown, which means the back can come off, making it 1,000 times easier to move. The other hidden problem is something called visual weight. A chair might physically fit, but it can still look way too big and make the whole room feel cluttered. To avoid that, look for recliners with slim arms and legs that lift it off the floor. That creates an illusion of space. Try to stay away from those big, bulky arms and skirted bases, especially in dark colors. They just visually suck the space right out of a room. All right, let's pull all of this together. We've gone over the measurements, the best types of recliners, and even visual scale. So now it's time for the final checklist to make sure you've thought of absolutely everything before you spend your money.
One last little decision, manual or power. Now, in a small room, this actually matters. A power recliner needs to be close to an outlet, and the motor can add a few extra inches to its depth. Manual recliners, on the other hand, are usually a bit more compact and give you a lot more freedom on where you can place them.
So here it is, your final check. Before you click Add to Cart, run through these questions. Does the fully reclined length fit your formula? Yes. Did you confirm wall clearance and walking space? Yes. Do you know for sure it will fit through your door? Yes. And hey, is it actually comfortable for your body? And please, please, please check the return policy, just in case. So at the end of the day, here's the big takeaway. Buying a recliner for a small space isn't a guessing game. It's not about luck. It's about a little bit of math, thinking about your layout, and having an eye for proportion. When you use this system, you're pretty much guaranteed to find that perfect chair. Now go measure your space and get ready to relax.